Don't you hate wrestling with predictability? The garbage man, the sexy boy, boring ass TV? How did I get to work in here? Somebody tell me, please. The WWF is confusing to me. With Vince as mean as you've ever seen. I told old Patterson I'm done here in June. When a sudden voice inside me whispered, Vinny, don't sell your dream so soon. And everywhere I look, there's a Ted with a hand to hold on to. And everywhere I look, there's a place and a promotion who needs you. And it's there you'll book when you're lost out there and you're all alone. And WCW's waiting to carry you home. It's there you'll book. And it's there I'll book. A doobity-ba-ba-ba, headed to Atlanta and listen to this podcast. It's all right, even though it fucking makes fun of everything I've ever done.
Backbone Wrestling Network. Welcome back to episode 44, the Sean Singletary of this podcast. Episode of Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? As always, I'm Scott Shiflett. Joining me is the backbone of the backbone, Logan Crossland. Logan, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Happy to be here as always. We did miss our last drop, but we're back and ready to dive back into some Russo madness. So.
Yeah, that's on me, fearless listener. I ran out of time. I triple booked myself with podcasts, and sadly, the day we were supposed to record, I was unable to even start the prep. And I like to be professional for this and not use Chat GPT. So I just messaged Logan. Was like, we're gonna have to punt. So my apologies, guys. We did finish up Lucha, so hopefully I'll have more time to prep now and won't watch the wrong podcast that I'm told for Clash, which that caused that as well. It was a nice little combination of prep suckageness. But anyway, that's just an excuse. So we'll continue being back every 2 weeks, hopefully. We have to record early for Mania, but that's a Scott and Logan problem. But let's go back to 2000, Logan. It's finally the week after my birthday, 5/22. Nitro starts off. It goes over what happened with Thunder, how the Filthy Animals was fighting with the New Blood contingent of like Shane, Cat, and like Chris Candido, all of them, and Billy Kidman, like people that weren't in the Filthy Animals. And then we see Hogan kissing Tori and her liking it, of course, because Kidman has to be cucked so many times. The Goldberg monster truck doing monster truck things, including like kidnapping Rick Steiner and Tank, which is weird. Then the Flair and Jeff Jarrett tag team match with Flair collapsing at the end. And then we see the hearse and limo pull up. And Tony says that Vince Russo said he will hold a funeral for the career of Ric Flair tonight. Liz steps out of the limo, and then Russo steps out as well with the WCW title. Russo says it's a sad day. David Flair and Jeff Jarrett then also get out of the limo, and they're all dressed in black. And Russo screams, "Why did it have to be him?" We are in Grand Rapids, Michigan tonight. So that's going to stop us there. Logan, looks like, I guess, like that they didn't really say anything on Thunder that made it look like something bad had happened to Flair. But I guess it like they're trying to act like he had a heart attack. They'll talk about what Vince Russo calls it a little bit later, but he's not here tonight, and it looks like he has vacated the WCW title, which, yes, that's a title change, guys. So that's already one, and we're 30 seconds into the show.
Yeah, absolutely absurd. But yeah, they kind of sold that he maybe has like a concussion at the end of the last one. I don't think they said anything particularly, but obviously he was kind of like collapsing and obviously wasn't in the right way when that show ended. But yeah, they definitely didn't announce anything or seem like he was, going to be out for any specific period of time. But yeah, obviously we're going to have the quote unquote funeral of Ric Flair here tonight.
Yeah, and it's in very bad taste. This is not the first angle that WCW tried to do where Flair had a heart attack or something, but they turned it into that Flair had been poisoned by Eric Bischoff. I want to say, was that 98 or 99, Logan? I think it was 98.
I think it sounds like 98.
Yeah.
Because that's when they feuded, so.
Yeah, so we're going back to that well, guys. So we're actually starting the show off with the match. I'm just as shocked as you guys are, but it's the Cat's music hits. He comes down. Tony once again reiterates we'll have a funeral for Ric Flair's career. Booker T's music hits, and he comes down, and Tony informs us this is a weapons match. Basically like nunchucks, batons, kendo sticks, those type of weapons. Cat swinging a kendo stick around like my little brother used to do when he was twirling a lightsaber. So I was laughing the whole time during this, Logan, when he was doing that, that Star Wars lightsaber shit. We all did it. So Booker T attacks Cat and throws him out of the ring, actually. Then Cat's able to take the advantage by throwing water in Booker, and then he throws him in the ring and starts beating him with the batons. Then he picks up nunchucks and he chokes Booker with them, and he starts hitting him, hits Booker with the nunchucks, and he picks up the baton and taunts Booker, then hits him, and he chokes him with the baton. Like, it's just him whooping ass with like these kendo sticks and baton, like it's batons right now and nunchucks. Cat Irish whips Booker, and he hits Booker in the throat with the baton running at him, which I thought was pretty funny. Booker starts to fight back, but with punches, but Cat hits him in the nuts. Then Cat hits the looks like he actually hits him with one of these fucking nunchucks because it busts Booker in the head real close. I don't know if you caught that, Logan. Mm-hmm. My note here is Cat hits Booker in the head with these sticks. Fuck, because it looks a little concussion inducing. Then Cat goes outside and picks up a kendo stick and starts hitting Booker with it. Booker starts to fight back with punches, but Cat stops him with the kendo stick. Booker ducks a kendo stick swing and hits a bookend. Cat then rakes Booker's eyes. Booker actually reverses an Irish whip and hits the Harlem sidekick. He hits the Booker, then hits the spine buster and starts beating down Cat with the kendo stick, which is what I would have done at the start. This brings out Sean Stasiak, and he runs in and beats down Booker. Cat gets out of the ring and picks up a chair. Booker hits a sidekick on Sean. Booker grabs the chair and hits Sean with it, and then Cat, in probably like the worst move ever, Booker is sitting there holding the chair for him so Cat can do a cartwheel kick and kick the chair into Booker's face, and that's how we win. After the match, we'll talk about that after the match in a minute, but Logan, this was not a fun match at all. That finishing sequence was horrible, and it's like business exposing bad.
Yeah, lots of weapon shots, probably a few too many. I'm not usually going to complain about weapons, but that was like 80 to 90% of Cat's offense in this. So, and Booker doesn't really get much in, so it doesn't really do much for him in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, he seemingly kind of had the match won until Stasiak comes out, but it doesn't really do much for Booker. And it doesn't really make the Cat look like he has too much in his repertoire either. So, pretty nothing match in the grand scheme of things. But, you would like to see a little bit more from Booker here, but he didn't get much to go with.
Yeah, and just the ending sequence was horrible. He could have won a different way instead of like Booker holding the chair while he does like a fucking forward roll and then kicks him. After the match, Misfits in action run down and they overwhelm the heels. Misfits in Action are beating down Sean, but Cat pulls Sean out of the ring. Bischoff's music hits, and he has a mic. Kimberly is with him, looking fucking smoking. Eric tells everyone to settle down and to keep it down. Says he's here to address Booker and his Misfits. Eric said last week we took care of business in California and it went well. Says they are one phone call away from changing the new blood in WCW forever. But before that happens, Eric says he's gonna have to start tonight with a clean slate. Says that Booker and MIA made a mistake. Eric says with all his compassion and giving them an opportunity to right the wrongs and join the new blood, he's trying to get Booker T and MIA to join. They all put their heads together like they're in a huddle. And Reaction says, "Hey Eric, we got 3 words for you: kiss our ass." And then Major Gunn like pulls her pants down, so you see that she's wearing a thong, but you see her ass cheeks. Eric says, "You just signed your death warrant." We see the Millionaire Club show up, which they're already late. And Hogan says Nash is late again. Sting says it's his gimmick, which is like, you're also late too because you missed the first fucking match. But we have a commercial break, and when we come back, Eric's talking to Booker T and MIA backstage, and Eric fires Booker, but not MIA. He says he has plans for them. So Booker's been fired, Logan. That's pretty crazy that like we're starting to get Booker back with dealing with Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo. That sort of went away after Slamboree because like Booker helped Jeff Jarrett retain the title the night after Spring Stampede, but it seems like they're reheating this back up, so we'll have to see what happens next.
Yeah, it seems like something they kind of abandoned for a while that they're kind of coming back to. But I knew we were headed a direction with Booger. I kind of wondered how we got there, but I think I'm picking up what they're putting down as it pertains to that. But yeah, definitely a weird kind of thing that happens. I would love this. I would love to know what this one phone call could do to make all of their problems go away, and why they don't just do it already and make their lives a lot easier. But yeah, I did like that the MIA all kind of together said kiss their ass when Bischoff offered them a new clean slate. But yeah, Booker being fired is definitely not something I was expecting, but I think I kind of know and get where it goes. So we'll see how I feel when we get there.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know where it's going as well, but we don't deal with spoilers here, guys, or this would be a 1-episode pod. But yeah, so we'll have to see where it goes. I guess later tonight, or in a future episode. And then we go back, and we're still backstage, but Russo's with Liz. You see a coffin, and it's open, and inside the coffin, it's just a big ass nose and Ric Flair robe. Jarrett says it's too damn old, and says we are burying his career. And then Russo makes David put his head in his bosom, like so he could cry, and like I thought that was funny. And while this is happening in the background, we see Crowbar and Daphne fighting over who owns the cruiserweight title, because they both had a double pin last week, and they're still trying to figure out who's the cruiserweight champion. And then we see Terry Taylor and Ric Flair actually show up. So Reed's here, his 12-year-old son, and David's half brother. Madden is fake crying when they go to the desk. They talk about the firing of Booker, and Scott says Terry Funk may retire tonight, as Terry Funk held a fake press conference earlier today and said he will make an announcement tonight. So it's like with work, Logan, sometimes we have the meeting before the meeting. So it looks like Terry Funk had the press conference before the press conference type situation going on here. And spoiler alert, the meeting for the meeting sucks. So we're leading to match 2, which I'll explain when we get there. But Daphne comes out with the Ric Flair wrestling buddy, which I never even know they made these. I had a Sting wrestling buddy, Logan. I still do. Of course I do. But I have it from when I was a kid. So that's pretty cool. And then Tony says we don't know what Ric Flair's status is, like still with that. And then they show highlights of Daphne and Crowbar winning the cruiserweight title last Monday. Daphne gets on the mic and says, "Crowbar, this is ridiculous. You are acting like a baby." Says Crowbar pissed in her suitcase and says that she's the champ because she pinned that skank. She calls out Crowbar. Crowbar comes out. They start doing tug of war with the title. The ref rings the bell. So we got Crowbar versus Daphne for the cruiserweight title. They start thumb wrestling, and that leads to a draw. Then rock, paper, scissors, and that leads to a draw as well. And then we get a collar and elbow tie up. Crowbar doesn't want to do anything to Daphne, but she slaps him and DDTs him. Miss Hancock comes out and it's taking notes like she's been. Crowbar, doesn't want to do anything to Daphne, but he backs her into a corner, then puts her on the top rope, but stops himself from doing a Frankensteiner off the top. Daphne then grabs Crowbar in pants and gives him an atomic wedgie, then hits the Franken Screamer. This gets 2. Crowbar then gets up and slams Daphne, and he gets on the ring apron and launches himself in, and he leg drops her with that. Then he looks down like, what the hell have I done? Then Chris Candido and Tammy come out, and all 4 just start fighting. Tammy gets a chair and was about to hit Daphne with it, but Crowbar stops her. And this allows Candido to hit a missile dropkick onto Crowbar while he was holding the chair. It was horribly choreographed. It looked like shit. And then he hits a tombstone pile driver on said chair. Chris and Tammy then leave. Then Daphne tries to wake up Crowbar, and the ref sees this because she was like leaning over him with her arm on him and counts 3. So Daphne is the new cruiserweight champion. Logan, somehow this match was worse than the original, which with the contestants is not that shocking, but it just makes wrestling look so staged with them like holding up the chair, waiting for Candido to hit the missile dropkick. It's really bad.
Yeah, this one's pretty business exposing. Crowbar does his best. I'm not saying he's the most talented guy in the world, but he's probably one of the more talented guys that they have out there that can put together something of a match. But when you put him in there with non-workers, I'm not saying Daphne's not trying. I'm not saying she's not training. I'm not saying she doesn't have, the idea of being a wrestler at some point, but she's definitely not at that point in her training at this point if she was. So Crowbar's just trying to do his best, but it still just looks like shit because she doesn't know where to be and how to be and all that kind of stuff at this point in her career. And it's business exposing because they do the stupid thumb war thing at the beginning and the rock, paper, scissors. We get the wedgie at the certain point as well. I did like the greetings from Asbury Park pile driver that Candido hit on the chair. I thought that was pretty sick. So that was a good way to finish it. But yeah, Daphne's our solo cruiserweight champion. Gone are the yesteryears of the great cruiserweight matches and cruiserweight champions of the early to mid 90s. So
yeah, and as we've seen, Logan, because like we've seen 44 episodes of Russo, and he does not give 2 fucks about the cruiserweight title. Like we've had Oklahoma, Medusa, now we have Daphne as the cruiserweight champion. And you think with Bischoff being there, he'd want to do something, but obviously that was like a battle he didn't want to fight. And it's just a joke because, like you said, that's what WCW was known for, was their cruiserweights. Like Jesus Christ, like, and there's Bischoff, a lot that you could do with it.
Bischoff's just there to hang out with Hogan and collect a check at this point. He didn't give a shit.
Pretty much, that's how it feels like. Mm-hmm. So we see the kid cam, which we hadn't seen in a while, and it's spying, and we see that Horace is getting a massage from Tori in like a hallway, not even like in a back room, just in a hallway. Tori looks amazing, by the way, guys.
He's going in on this massage too, like hard.
I was like, God damn, could she give me a massage? It's just amazing. But we got a commercial break, and then we come back and we see that Booker is leaving. And MIA asks, like, what's he going to do? And Booker says, stay tuned next week. I have a plan. So we have a hook for next week. And in the background, we see Norman and Ralphus washing the car for $1. Then we cut to where New Blood is, and Kidman comes in and yells at Eric about Horse. And then Cat gets in his face, but Kidman pie faces Cat and pushes him away and goes looking for Horse. Eric said, you're the one who wanted to hang out with the hot-looking blonde. You couldn't handle the pressure. This man's getting buried everywhere, Logan. He doesn't deserve this. And then Kidman's still looking for Horace, and Eric is following him. Kidman finds Tori and says he will beat Horace's ass, and he says that Tori will be the ref. Kidman then goes into Horace's locker room because for some reason in WCW, Horace has his own fucking locker room. Eric then calls over the ref, punches him, and takes off his shirt. He throws the ref shirt to Tori, and then Kidman and Horace come out of the locker room fighting, and they fight all the way to the locker room and the battle all the way to the ring. This leads us to match 3, which is Kidman versus Horace with Tori as a special ref. Kidman and Horace battle around the ring. Eric gets some commentary. Horace, of course, is beating Kidman's ass because his name is Horace Hogan. and then Horace runs into the ring post, and Kidman does. I call it like a sliced bread bulldog, Logan, because like he used like the ring apron to kick off of like slice bread number 2. I don't know, but it was pretty dope. Kidman and Horace are lit in the ring, and Kidman ducks a clothesline and hits a drop kick. Eric says on commentary that a pay-per-view we will have a special ref for the Hogan and Kidman match. Hint, 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 hint. Kidman eats a knee, and then Horace hits Kidman with a boot. Horace chokeslams Kidman, and then Horace goes outside and grabs a table. He slides it in the ring. Horace hits Kidman with the clothesline. He then sets up a table. Hulk Hogan's bitch ass comes out, and Horace tries to powerbomb Kidman, but Kidman reverses to a facebuster. Kidman puts Horace on the table and goes up top, but Hulk Hogan knocks Kidman off the turnbuckle, and he's just sitting on the turnbuckle. Hogan then throws Kidman off the top rope through the table, which Horace was on, because of course. Hogan then puts Kidman on Horace and makes Tori count, but Hogan has his boot on Kidman, so Hogan bitches both of these people out, Logan. Hogan somehow wins a match he wasn't even fucking involved in. I'll get to the post-match, but goddamn, like, they're making Kidman look like such a fucking joke week after week. Like this, like, you know how people, when they talk about the invasion, how bad DDP got bitched out, how he lost to Sarah by The Undertaker?
Yeah.
This is encroaching those levels, and I feel it's forgotten of how bad it is. Like, everyone knows about it, but like seeing the week to week, it is god awful. Even show to show, Logan, it's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, Kidman single-handedly. I mean, we talk about it every time, but he single-handedly went from one of our like favorites that was actually getting a pretty solid push to just getting completely emasculated and bitched out every week. By Hogan, by others. I mean, he even gets his ass beat a good bit by Horace here. I mean, Horace he's just not somebody that needs to be taken seriously or be used in a strong way. I know he's kind of a newer guy and somebody that had been pushed to the top, but he ain't got the talent. Like, at least Kidman has the talent somewhere deep down in himself. He may not be the best on the mic or anything like that, but he can bring it in ring. When he's in there with somebody that it can actually work. But yeah, it's just a complete, like, his woman's getting stolen by Horace
and Hulk
and Hulk, and he just gets completely emasculated in that way and just gets absolutely ass beat every time he's in the ring. Mostly by Hulk, but he's been beaten down by others in the past as well. So Kidman continues to be the person I feel the sorriest for in this whole process. But yeah, I mean, Hogan's gonna Hogan. So what can we say at this point?
Really is. It's so it's so upsetting. But the end is near for Hulk. I mean, we got it's like 12 more episodes for us, but yeah, the end is near. Hogan gets on the mic and says, "Eric, we used to be tight, and I thought you were cool." Says Eric can get any damn ref he wants, and he calls Eric a pissant. Then he says that Eric is a piece of shit. We go backstage to the funeral. Russo says we're gonna bury Rick with his watch, and then Jeff says it's a family heirloom, and he offers it to David, and David said, "What do I want? Why do I want it? I don't want my wrist to turn green," and throws the watch in the casket. Keep this in mind, because he throws the cat. There's no QA here, guys. None at all. No quality control. You'll see. But we have a commercial break. And then we see Norman and Ralph is trying to wash cars when a low rider comes up, and it's the Filthy Animals. Norman offers to wash the car for $1, and we see them bouncing the shocks, which everyone's like, it's like, oh my God, I've never seen a car do that. We see the Misfits in action watching the Filthy Animals show up. Terry Funk comes out. He's dressed out in a suit and has a hardcore title. Funk gets on the mic and says hello, says he's here tonight to make a very important announcement, and it's long overdue. Says his daughter Brandy is here. And like he says he had all these other people. No, that's later. Sorry. Eric is in the back. He says he's heard enough and sends out the new blood. Terry says he told so many people to watch the show tonight. They need the ratings, Terry, so tell them to watch it all. But before he can make the announcement, the new blood comes out, and Shane Douglas says he's heard enough. Make the damn announcement. Terry says, "Do you want to hear it real bad and say hell yes?" And no one says hell yes at all, really, in the crowd. Felt real bad for Uncle Terry there. Funk says, I'll tell you the announcement. And the announcement says, it's a boy. I'm a grandpa. Shane says, I don't give a damn about your family. Shane says, you retired, damn it. And Terry says, Grandpa shouldn't be in the wrestling ring. He says he's retiring 6-1. Terry says he spoke with Brad Siegel, and it's June 1st, 2001, as Brad extended his contract for one more year. My note just here is poor WCW and a sad face because they don't make it to June 1. So that made me a little down, Logan. Shane then says, we're going to retire your ass right goddamn now. Shane, New Blood is Shane, Douglas, Chris Candido, Kat, and Sean Stasiak that beat down Terry. They all take turns punching him. Then he pile drives Terry on the steel chair. Brandy Funk comes in the ring, but Shane pushes her down. The beatdown continues. It's real egregious. Chris DDTs Terry on the chair. Another spike pile driver on the chair. Chris then counts the pin for Shane, and he steals the hardcore title. EMTs come down and take out Funk on a stretcher. This segment was not needed at all, Logan. But yeah, it's just real rough, and like it's so like this took up time where we didn't even need it, and it's just so absurd. Like they bitched out Terry at every opportunity. We even saw this back in Sold Out when he was commissioner for a hot second, and every win he has is a fluke win, and like they're just bitching him out again. Like this segment was like 5 to 10 minutes and was not needed at all.
Yeah, this was way too long to be like a bait and switch, basically. I mean, obviously we knew he wasn't going to retire. I think we know that's I think we know that that's the case because I'm like we kind of talked about. I think pretty sure he's there at the end. So I wasn't shocked that this was kind of not that in a way, but yeah, definitely didn't need to be a segment. This was like a Thunder segment, honestly. Not that Nitro's all that different from Nitro and Thunder aren't all that different at this point. They both kind of suck equally, and they're both kind of treated equally, I feel like, for the most part. But yeah, obviously he's a grandfather. But yeah, it's sad that Terry Funk's contract outlasts the company itself. That's pretty sad. And I know the daughter is not a worker, but pretty poor acting skills on that one during this. So, but yeah, I mean, it just, he gets his ass beat again. So it's good to see him kind of sell, but it was pretty long unnecessarily. And it definitely didn't serve too much of a purpose because he's not a character that's important, I would say. So.
Yeah, not at all. It's absurd. But we go outside and we see Ralphus and Norman washing the Filthy Animals car. Major Guns distracts Ralphus, and we see Rection was talking to Norman Smiley, and we see that Stash swaps out the water. So obvious foreshadowing. And then we see coming up next is the Wall walking backstage, and we see Mike Awesome dressed like Canyon driving an ambulance. We have a commercial break. We see clips of Canyon's interview from Thunder. And then after that, Madden says, are we still paying him? And Tony says, we are all dumber because of your statement right there, which I thought was pretty funny. But also, WCW known to cut people when they're hurt. So obvious question. Mike Awesome comes out in a wheelchair and a halo like Canyon has. He rolls down the ring and he has a mic and says, excuse me, has anyone seen my nurses because I need a sponge bath and can't locate them? Awesome says, I'm so hurt from being crippled. Awesome starts walking and Madden says it's a miracle, which made me laugh. Mike's in the ring and says, my name is Ironside Chris Canyon, and Mike Awesome threw me off the cage and ended my career. He actually gets asshole chants from this, which is pretty impressive. Mike Awesome says, oh, my neck. And then the Wall comes out and he rushes the ring. And this leads to match 4, which is Mike Awesome versus the Wall, which is in a tables first ambulance match. I don't know how it's supposed to end either, Logan.
Well, the last 2 ambulance matches haven't ended in the ambulance. So
yeah, but this is a tables versus ambulance match. So we're just throwing shit at the Wall, boys. And girls, if you listen. So Wall slides in and Mike starts punching him. Mike Awesome Irish whips Wall and hits a clothesline. Wall then reverses an Irish whip and hits a big boot. Wall hits a running power slam. Wall throws Mike in the corner and punches him, and then he gets 3 punches in the corner, but Mike hits Wall in the nuts and tries to powerbomb him, but Wall shimmies out. Mike Austin was near the ropes, and Wall rushes him, and Mike Austin backdrops him over the top rope, and Wall went through a table. And that's it. The bell rings. And we'll talk about the post-match slogan, but that was a hell of a bump. That's the only thing you need to know about this match. The Wall took a hell of a bump from the outside. It was sort of like how Brock Lesnar takes a bump out of the ring. That's how it kind of looked, except for not as good, because Brock does it amazing, but like it had the same style.
Yeah, to see a man of the Wall size fly like that, absolutely absurd. He gets backdropped from the inside all the way out through the table, and it is one of the most insane bumps I think I've ever seen. Especially with somebody of his size. He's just a gigantic human. So I think if you're going with the ambulance versus table step, shouldn't Awesome have to win by the ambulance, because isn't his thing the ambulance and the Wall's thing is the tables? So I don't know. I don't get it, but I guess it just ended however they felt necessary. But yeah, the backdrop was absolutely awesome. Ridiculous bump. But yeah, obviously Awesome got some pretty good heel heat by making fun of Canyon and all that. So but yeah, Wall and Awesome had a pretty good match to the point when the spot happened, but so I could see them maybe having a match further down the line and get a little bit more time and maybe make something out of it.
Yeah, it was great. Like it was like 45 seconds, but it was fun. That bump, go out your way to try to find it. It shocked me. I was trying to say shook me, but yeah, it shocked me. So after the match, Wall gets up and Mike celebrates, but the Wall starts beating down Mike. They battle to the entranceway. Shane Douglas comes out and he beats down Wall with a pipe. Then they beat down the Wall and like drag him to the back. They're about to throw him in the ambulance, but DDP jumps out and he beats down Shane Douglas and Mike Austin with the chair. DDP throws Mike Austin in the ambulance and it takes off. And then Shane and Wall fight. We just see them fighting around the backstage. And guys, I just want to reiterate, we literally just saw DDP throw Mike Awesome in the casket in the ambulance and it took off. Right, Logan? You saw that, right?
Yeah.
You saw that.
Yeah.
We then cut to see New Blood carrying the casket. That's about to happen next. And who do I see carrying the casket, Logan?
Who is that?
Right there, dead center. Mike fucking Awesome.
Yep.
No quality control. Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
None at all.
Hey, nobody accused Russo of being smart. That we are kind of making fun of him in this pod. So
yeah, but it's just like Jesus Christ. Like that's just basic shit. He's the first person you see, Logan.
Yeah,
he's the first person you see.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, he fucking teleported back there. So yeah. So we take a commercial break. When we come back, we see that the soap that the Ralphus and Norman thought they had was actually paint. Pretty good joke, but I'm also like, WCW wasted so much money in 2000. We should not be ruining a car. But here we are. New Blood comes out for the funeral of Ric Flair. Tony says it's rumored that Ric Flair had a brain aneurysm, which I'm pretty sure would have killed him on the spot, but I'm not a doctor. And it's just R&B security and Jeff, David Flair, and Russo. So I don't know where everyone went as well because all these people were carrying it, but whatever. Russo says we are gathered here today to celebrate the death of the career of Ric Flair. We see what happened on Thunder where he collapsed. Russo says it's the most pathetic thing we've ever seen. Russo says it's on the fans' head because he tried to do the right thing. He told Flair that he was too old to compete, and he says that Flair had a brain aneurysm. Russo says it's a shame that David couldn't retire Flair at the pay-per-view. Crowd chants, Russo sucks. Russo says, I may suck, but I got the WCW title, and he gives it to Jeff Jarrett. Jeff gets on the mic and says the man with all the stroke proves he is the chosen one. Russo takes back the mic and says, and don't say Russo never has a heart. And he says he's going to bury the Rolex with the career, despite the fact that the Rolex was already thrown in to the casket, Logan. So I don't really know how that works. but whatever.
Well, I do think
so
I
he
do
goes to
think
throw.
I do think Russo grabbed it back after David threw it in there. So
Okay.
I like
Okay.
right after he threw it, I think Russo was like, "Oh, let's not, disrespect your, whatever," and pull it back out.
Okay.
So.
Let the record show, Logan, the one with compassion on this podcast, gave Russo a lifesaver.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back to watch, so I trust my partner in arms, Logjam Quasland.
You're welcome, Vinny Ruth.
Yes. So he goes to drop the Rolex in the casket, but a hand grab pops out and grabs him by the throat. It's Nash. He basically chokes out Russo. Nash gets in the ring and takes out David Flair and Jeff Jarrett. He steals the world title. Nash then stands over Russo and tells him to suck it, and he walks off. We have a commercial break. We have a new announcer. Russo grabs the mic and says, "Who are you?" And then says that Nash has 45 minutes to give the title or he will take it from him. And says if not, it'll be Jeff Jarrett versus Nash in a no-holds-barred match, and they will take it from him. So we'll talk about the announcer shortly, but someone has to come out of the casket, Logan. When you have it there, I will say I've read how hard it was for, like Dave Meltzer said, it was hard for Kevin Nash coming out of that, and seeing him come out of that was a sight to behold because it did look a little rough for him. So, but yeah, it's we sort of got our quasi main event tonight. We'll see what happens, but we already got a vacant title, and then we got the title just given to Jeff Jarrett, like it's a fucking 2003 fucking night Raw with Triple H and Bischoff. So never great when you just get titles handed to someone. So and then so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, obviously, just a way to get the belt back on Jarrett, seemingly stripping Flair when we don't kind of know all the details of his injuries or whatever. So just a heel way to kind of get the belt back on your guy without having him beat anybody. But yeah, in these segments, if there's a casket involved, it was either going to be Flair or somebody else that Russo's kind of on the outs with at this point. It ends up being Nash. I don't know how Nash particularly fit in that thing. And I can't imagine with his rickety ass knees, it was very easy for him to get out of. But yeah, Nash is awesome. So, and like, I love that they threatened him with a match later on. Like he's not going to take it with a chance to be the world champion. So I don't really get that one, but because why would Nash turn that down? Even if he's, outnumbered and, kind of, the rules are set up to kind of not favor him or whatever. But yeah, probably another kind of pointless segment in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, is trying to get the Flair Russo rivalry over a little bit more, but I don't know how much it accomplished.
How do you think it sounded when they asked Kevin Nash to come out of the casket?
How much money you putting up, man? Because I'm going to need quite a bit to get in that thing, let alone get out of it. So you're going to have to throw extra couple of stacks of stack the hundies on the table. I can't do a Vinny Roo. Not in my current voice.
I know the Kevin Nash was the best. Oh, thank you, Logan. Sorry, I needed that. Ever since like about halfway through, I was like, I'm going to ask him what Kevin Nash said when he was coming out of the casket. Right. Oh, sorry, listeners. I just needed that. I love
for a couple extra dollars on the top of that one.
I love Logan's Kevin Nash voice. God damn it, I love it. Oh, I got tears in my eyes, Logan.
Calm down, you Mark.
So Scott Steiner's music then hits. Keep in mind, they're Michigan. He is a baby face right now for what I'm about to say. A bunch of freaks come out. They're dressed like cheerleaders. Scott literally screams at a fan so loud that he sucks as he's walking. I guess the person said something he didn't like. Scott grabs a mic and says, great to be back in the neighborhood. He says in Michigan is where he took his freaks to ecstasy. He said when the dark side of the moon rises, the big bad booty daddy comes out. He says all his freaks know there's nothing finer than doing the 69er with Scott Steiner. This man's amazing, Logan. Just
he is a gift.
Just amazing. And then Scott says, from now on, where I go is where the cell goes, and talks about the asylum, which was like, they hadn't brought a lot of attention to it. You've seen it some crowd shots of like this circular cage above the ring. And Steiner says it's the only way you get out is to quit. And then he calls out Rick Steiner and Tank Abbott. Rick comes out, and Tony says the asylum is lowering, which the asylum doesn't look like there's a lot of space to maneuver in with these guys. But like, you get in the ring, the little cage comes down and it circles you in, and you can't get out unless you quit. So match 5 is Rick Steiner versus Scott Steiner, an asylum match. The cage is still lowering, but Rick attacks Scott when he gets in the ring. Rick's beating him down. He hits a belly to belly. The cage is lowered. There is a roof on this cage, so you can't climb out of this circular contraption. Rick tries to throw Scott into the cage, but Scott blocks it, and Scott hits a belly to belly, then an overhead suplex. Looks like for that first belly to belly that Rick did not go with him, and I'm pretty sure Scott motherfucked him and then fucking threw his ass with that overhead suplex. Scott puts Rick in the Steiner recliner, and then Goldberg's music hits, but it's Tankberg. He even has his own chronon that says Tankberg. Tank has bolt cutters, so we're already going to kill this asylum gimmick. Scott drops the recliner and watches Tankberg come out. So Scott's beating down Rick. The bolt cutters somehow don't work because Tank Abbott's a fucking moron. Tanklin decks Mickey J, who is controlling the cage, and he raises the cage. Scott's about to go after Tank, but Rick grabs Scott's leg and stops him. They beat him down. The Wolfpack music hits, and Kevin Nash comes down. He hits both men with title belts, and Scott and Kevin are just still standing. We see Jeff watching what just happened. Logan, this would be okay if it was like the only gimmick match on the show, but we're 5 matches in, and we've already had like 4 gimmick matches and a intergender match. So
and we have a no holds barred main event coming. So
yeah, so not like, and like just the cage that you automatically already kill with like, oh, here's a way to get out. You just jump the fucking ref. You know.
Yeah. And the cage looks like shit. I mean, I get what they were trying to do, but it's just like haphazardly thrown together like chicken wire cage. Yeah, I don't think Rick Steiner came there that night to bump.
Fuck, not even for his brother.
So, and not even for his own flesh and blood. So, yeah, I mean, this wasn't much. Obviously, another kind of way and kind of excuse to get Scott 2-on-1 with Tank and Rick. So, Nash continues to be a menace to the heels of the roster and comes and helps Scott Steiner out here. But yeah, this wasn't much, and again, probably one gimmick match too many. This probably could have been put on another show or another week or something like that. But yeah, not much accomplished throughout this one. This subtitle of this episode is didn't accomplish much.
not at all. So we take a commercial break. We come back. Kevin Nash is with the new announcer. He checks her out and asks who she is. She says she's Pamela Polshock. She is very attractive. Kevin Nash asks if she's single. And then Nash says it's simple and says tonight, if Jeff wins, he goes home, he's the champ. And if Nash wins, he goes home champ. And then before he leaves, he checks out Pamela's ass and says, damn, and walks off. Just amazing. Just amazing. I know you're feeling bad, so I wouldn't have you do that, Logan. But we see Terry Taylor and Reed talking backstage. No worries. New Blood music hits, and main event Chuck Palumbo comes out with R&B security with Liz. We see Lex committing fucking homicide last week when he hit Palumbo with a 45-pound weight in the head. DDP's music hits, and this leads us to match 6, DDP versus Chuck Palumbo. Chuck flexes at DDP twice, and then DDP punches him, and then gets a headlock, and Chuck turns this to a hammerlock. DDP hits a shoulder block, then a belly-to-belly. This gets 2. DDP gets 3 punches to Chuck and takes him out. DDP hits a nice sit-down powerbomb, but then Chuck hits DDP in the nuts and hits a super kick. Chuck calls in Liz, and she gets on the ring apron and slaps him. DDP gets a roll-up and gets 2. I legit thought this was going to be the ending, Logan. Then both men close on each other, and they're both down despite it being a 3-minute match so far. They act like they've just wrestled 30. Kimberly walks down, and hits Liz in the back with a bat. DDP hits a Uranagi. Ref is distracted looking at Liz. Mike Awesome runs in with the halo and hits DDP with it. Chuck Lynn puts DDP in a torture rack and it's over. Mike and Chuck beat down DDP. We see Alexa came down that was missed, but he's checking on Liz. Lex then gets in the ring, but Kimberly grabs his leg. Chuck Lynn hits Lex with the Lex Flexor, which is like a muscle bendy device, in the face. They say his face is crushed. I have in parentheses, are they writing him out? So this was just another nothing match, Logan. Like, it just seemed like maybe they're getting rid of Lex here, which we'll talk about more in a minute. But yeah. Nothing match.
Yeah, he does take the shot kind of straight to the face, so it could have been kind of a shoot as well, but it could be a way of kind of maybe riding him away for a little bit. But yeah, this is another one of those situations where the new blood guy kind of gets his ass kicked the whole time, but somehow comes away with the win. But yeah, Kim smashes Liz with the bat, takes her out pretty quickly. I thought the Halo cast shot was pretty weak in the grand scheme of things. He kind of swings it, but it doesn't feel like it makes much impact. So I think it was kind of a weak way to kind of knock him out. But obviously they were just trying to get Palumbo to get the win. Yeah, Luger checks on Liz. He gets hit with the arm flexor, the Lex flexor, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, just again, kind of nothing happening. Nothing really much accomplished other than maybe hurting Lex here. Did you happen to notice who the R&B security guys were that helped Liz the back?
No, who were they?
It was main event Mike Sanders and Kiwi. So future.
What? Main event Mike Sanders?
Yeah. He had blonde hair this time though, so I barely recognized him. But yeah, it was definitely Mike Sanders and Kiwi, who will be future members of this podcast. So we'll see.
Awesome.
Actually, I'm assuming all the R&B guys are just power plant trainees and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I definitely
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely have to be looking out for him now. We'll have to, yeah. So we see that Reed and Terry come in the ring, get a commercial break. We see what just happened. We see Alexis bleeding, like he has like towels over his face and it's full of blood, and he's put in an ambulance. Kimberly tells Liz that she brought this upon herself. What a bitch.
Poor
Ric
Liz.
Flair, yeah, right. Ric Flair's music hits, and out comes Terry and Reed. Terry holds the mic, and Reed asks for David to come out, and he's not talking too loud, so Terry keeps like whispering to him to talk louder. I don't know if you caught that, Logan. He was like, come on out. David Flair comes out with Daphne.
And then
he's also 12 years old. Like, what the fuck is
know.
WCW doing?
I know.
Like, what are we doing? But Reed says he's sorry for whatever happened between them, says the family needs him. David puts his fingers in his ear so he doesn't hear it. And Reed says you don't want to know what it's like without him being home. Daphne hits Terry Taylor with a statue. Reed tries to do some wrestling moves to David, but he gets him in a headlock, but then David takes over and puts him on the figure four, and David's screaming, come on, champ, which I thought was pretty funny. Security then comes in and breaks everything up. This is just a nothing angle. Like, we see David whoop his brother's ass. We've all been there, Logan. I'm sure you're the one getting the figure four put on you, as you were the youngest brother.
Yeah, I had many sharpshooters put on me back in the day, so I can definitely sympathize with old Reed here. But yeah, you knew this was coming. I wasn't sure he would actually take any offense, but I kind of don't hate it. It kind of makes David look like even more of a dick. But I always love seeing Terry Taylor get smashed with something. So him getting ransacked with the damn Statue of Liberty statue was pretty sick.
Yeah, it was. I like the Statue of Liberty statue being a
kind of a recurring thing.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, and it fucking explodes perfectly. It probably hurts like a bitch.
It's probably like fully powder, so it probably doesn't hurt
Yeah,
all that bad. But who knows?
like the guitar shots.
Mm.
So we see what just happened. Then Vampire's music hits. He comes out with a torch, a blowtorch, and gasoline. And we see last Wednesday of the ring catching on fire, which we did not see, Logan, because they actually showed a far shot that actually looked pretty cool. What we saw looked like shit. And then Tony says there will be a human torch match at the Great American Bash, where the only way to win is to catch someone on fire. Hogan's music hits. We got match 7, Vampiro versus Hulk Hogan. Hogan slides in and Vampiro attacks him. Vampiro hits a spin kick and chops Hogan in the corner. Vampiro chops Hogan out of the ring and hits an axe handle from the ring apron. Vampiro throws Hogan into the guardrail. He hits Hogan with a chair, then a super kick. Then it becomes the Hogan show because Hogan replies with punches and hits Vampiro with a chair shot. Then he hits Vampiro with multiple chair shots around the ring. He throws him into the guardrail. He punches Vampiro over the announce table. Then he goes over and grabs Vampiro and throws him in the ring. He takes off his weight belt and starts beating him with it. Then he chokes Vamp with it. Hogan slams Vampiro, then elbow drops him 3 times. Then he steps on Vampiro's head. Then he picks up Vampiro and bites him. I said this is how Hogan got AIDS.
Oh God!
Either that or Brother Brudai. Hogan then sends Vamp into the turnbuckle and hits a clothesline. Then he hits another clothesline, and then he kicks Vamp in the nuts. Hogan hits the big boot in the leg drop, and then he mounts Vamp and punches him 10 times. The ref breaks it up, and Hogan threatens the ref. Then Billy Kidman comes down. He hits Hogan with the blowtorch, and Kidman puts Vamp on Hogan, and he wins. Literally, it was a squash from when I said Hogan, the last, like when Vampiro hit the super kick, until he somehow won the match. Like, these guys just eat him up and gets no fucking offense. So then Vamp's about to set Hogan on fire, but Sting comes in and Scorpion Death Drop Vamp. If I was Sting, I would have let him lit on fire for Starrcade 97, but that's me. Hogan looks at the Hogan then gets up and looks at the camera and says he will kick Kidman's ass at the pay-per-view. Hogan whips Vamp after the match, and so does Sting. Basically like a superstar squash here, Logan.
Yeah, absolutely. I did not have Vampiro having a pinfall victory over Hulk Hogan in the record books, though. That one's one that kind of snuck up on me. But yeah, he couldn't just bury Kidman on the night. He had to bury Vampiro as well, which Vampiro's not, he hasn't been too elevated throughout this entire feud per se. But he again pretty much gets completely dominated as he has been by Sting since he pretty much came in. But I guess at least he gets the win. I feel like I've said that a couple of times with Vampiro. At least he's getting some wins, but obviously it's coming at the behest of him getting his ass absolutely kicked. And Sting even comes out after the match and kind of helps Hogan out. So he doesn't even get to celebrate too long.
Not one iota, Logan. Like Jesus Christ, like it's horrible. So have a commercial break, and then we're back outside the arena where the filthy animals come and ask for their car. Ralphus and Norman ask for their money, but they're like, "This, you ruined our car," and then they're beaten up by the filthy animals. But this was just a ploy by the Misfits in action as they come down and beat down the filthy animals. Then they run off the filthy animals. Ralphus is down, and they try to get Major Guns to save Ralphus, but she says no. Then Rection says it's her duty, and she gets down and she's about to kiss him, but Ralphus gives her tongue and she slaps him, which I thought was pretty funny. So we're leading to our. So we see what just happened, and then we're leading to our main event. Jeff Jarrett's music hits. We see Nash come out of the coffin and stealing the world title. Nash comes down. He's dressed in jeans, not ready to fight. He comes out with the world title. And then Russo's music hits, and he comes out with a bat and R&B security. Russo gets in the ring and hits the ref with a bat, and he becomes the ref. So match 8, Jeff Jarrett versus Kevin Nash in a no-holds-barred match for the world title. Jeff attacks Nash, but then Nash is able to take back over, and he drops him head first on a turnbuckle and hits a sidewalk slam. Russo counts 1, and he stops and tells Nash to suck it. Russo and Jeff leave the ring. Nash follows him. Jeff hits Jeff gets back in and hits Nash with a chair. Nash gets up and he clotheslines Jeff out of the ring. Nash then beats Jeff around the ring because, Logan, you ruined Jeff Jarrett for me when you said every match has to be a walking brawl on highway to the Impact Zone. So thank you for that.
I mean, it's true.
Oh, God, it's all I fucking see now, Logan.
Okay, whenever it ruins anything for anybody, it's absolutely the truth.
And every time I see it, I will say Jeff Jarrett has amazing punches. Like, my God, his punches are amazing.
That's the Memphis in him.
Yeah, it really is. But Nash beats Jeff around the ring. Nash then drops Jeff on the hardest part of the ring. And then he goes down for a pin, but Russo goes suck it and doesn't count. Russo gets in the ring and Nash starts to stalk him. He grabs Russo, but Jeff hits Nash with the world title. Jeff and Russo hug, but Jeff pins Nash and Nash kicks out at 2, even with the fast count. Jeff then attacks Nash. Jeff punches Nash and Nash reverses an Irish whip and then gets Jeff in position for a jackknife, but Russo maces Nash. Nash is blinded and Jeff Jarrett hits the stroke. Scott Steiner comes down and beats down Jeff. Russo maces Scott. Then R&B security overwhelms Scott and handcuff him to the ropes like in a crucifix pose. And then Russo is trying to put Jeff on Nash, but Nash grabs Russo by the neck and makes him count while he's pinning Jeff, but Jeff kicks out at 2. I'm not going to lie, Logan, I thought that was going to be the end of the match with Nash winning here. Like, that's just something I could see. It was actually a pretty cool kick out because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Nash rolls out of the ring. Russo rolls out of the ring and Nash goes after him. But R&B security go after Nash and he takes all of them out with punches. And then Nash goes to powerbomb Russo in the aisleway. And fans of this, you probably have seen this. I did not realize what it was until it started happening. And the blood was supposed to fucking hit Nash. And
he has to back into it.
Fucking 2 feet away from him. And it gets all over one fan. It gets all over a bunch of fans. And Nash backs into it, like Logan said. But you see one of the fans
twice.
Yeah. One of the fans looks and is like, what the fuck? Everyone just looks so mad. It somehow it makes Nash pause and wonder what the hell is going on. It disorients him, which I guess it Liquid hit me too. I'm like, what the fuck? But Jeff hits Nash with a guitar and he pins him. So Jeff is our world champ. Blood is fucking everywhere. It's all over the place, over Russo. It's just horrible. Russo holds up the title and he gives it to Jeff. Eric comes out and gets on the mic and says, you guys are too much, and says June 11th it'll be the end of Hogan. Flair gone for good and says, Nash, you haven't seen nothing yet. Russo says, bite us, baby. Eric asks Jeff, how does it feel to be WCW World Champ? Jeff says he is a chosen one. Says, choke on that, slap ass as the show ends. Holy shit, Logan. Not the worst show. Not the worst show. Them fucking up the blood again, like you said, 2 times is pretty amazing. But I kind of enjoyed the show. It went by quick.
Yeah, it definitely went by quick. I'll give it that. I won't say it was great, but it wasn't the worst we've seen, which I feel like I either say it's the worst thing we've ever seen, or I kind of say that, that it wasn't the worst we've ever seen. But yeah, this was a pretty chaotic kind of main event. Obviously, Russo is kind of the ref throughout the match. And yeah, Nash is one of our favorites. And Steiner does come out for a little bit as well. But yeah, the blood again, not even the fact that it's happened twice. It's happened twice with Nash, of all, and like I said, he had to kind of back into the fact that it was even pouring out in the first place. So, yeah, just absolutely absurd. But this helps Jarrett kind of cement his next world title reign that he's on. But yeah, Bischoff comes out and basically promises that the Millionaires Club is going to come to an end at Great American Bash. So it'll be interesting to see how they plan to accomplish that when we get there. But we'll see, obviously, as we get closer and closer to Great American Bash.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, I don't know. They speed run to these fucking angles, Logan. The title might change hands 4 more times because we still got 3 weeks until the show. It's June 11th. Like, holy shit, man. You're looking at me like you know something. Jesus Christ. Jeff Jarrett's title reigns are going to be a combined like 39 fucking days or something. Like, he's already like a 3-time champ.
Schiff, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, we may have 3 champs on the same show at some point.
Jesus fucking. We had 3 champs tonight. Vacant, Jeff Jarrett, and Daphne becoming champ.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying the world title alone may have 3 different champs on the same night in a future episode.
Jesus Christ. It's breaking my brain, man. Like,
I think after that though it gets better, but yeah.
Embarrassing. So before we get out of here, let's go over the champs. As we said, pre-show, the world champ was Ric Flair. The U.S. champ is Scott Steiner. Tag champs Chronic weren't even here. Cruiserweight was Daphne and Crowbar. The hardcore champ is Terry Funk. Post-show, Jeff Jarrett, Scott Steiner. Jeff Jarrett's world champ, Scott Steiner U.S. champ. Tag champs Chronic. Cruiserweight champ Daphne. And Terry Funk is the hardcore champ. So for the most absurd, I got the Flair storyline. Like, what are we doing? Anything you like to add?
You could go with the blood spot, but you could also go with the awesome showing up in the backstage segment after he gets toted out in the ambulance. So it could be either one of those.
Yep. I got what was good, the show flowed, and the wall bump.
Yeah, the wall bump for sure.
Yeah. So New Blood looking like dumbasses is what I have, Logan.
Yeah, just kind of continued burial of the New Blood as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. So we had 8 matches tonight. 1 clean finish, which do you want to guess what the clean finish was?
I can't even think. No. What was it?
The ambulance versus...
Oh, yeah, the backdrop. Yeah.
Yeah, the backdrop. That was it.
Wow.
So we had 0 pole matches. I thought there'd be more pole matches.
They must really rack up here at the end.
Yeah, right. We had 5 total gimmick matches tonight, which is insane. That brings us to sorry, I'm doing some math real quick. That brings us to 138 total. 1 guitar shot. We hadn't had a guitar shot in a while, Logan. So that brings us to... Mike Graham might have been full of shit because he said broke 5 million guitars never draw a dime. But we're only at 41, which is a whole lot lower than I thought. Mm-hmm. How many different things happened tonight?
40.
40. Oh, my goodness. That's 4 off the 2-hour record, Logan. That just shocked us. We had 3 titles change hands tonight because I'm counting the Ric Flair to vacant and then vacant to Jeff Jarrett as 2. Cruiserweight champ is 1, so that's 3. We have 53 total title. We've had 44 episodes and we've had 53 different title changes, guys. Yes. And for the final question, are you smarter than Vince Russo's WCW? It's a close one, but I'm going to say yes tonight, Logan.
Yeah, it's closer than usual, but yeah, I think I could have, probably put together a little bit more of a cromulent TV show or TV episode than this.
Exactly. So that brings us into another episode of Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? We'll see you in 2 weeks for the 5/24/2000 Thunder. We might have 3 world title changes. By the way, Logan's talking. It has me scared, guys. But for Logan Crossland, I'm Scott Shuflett. Be positive.
Peace.